wanting to improve your health with just one simple thing. And I've got to tell you this too. I'm going to let you guess. What do you think is the most important supplement, especially if you're over the age of 50, to take? And if you're not taking anything else, what do you think it is? Yeah, you might be right. Does this give you a hint here in the background? Very sunny background. It's vitamin D. I would say if you had to pick any supplement, natural product, or anything, like what should I take? Vitamin D is on the top of the list. And why is this? Why is that? So let's make it really fun and interesting. So you might live in a sunny area. I live in Arizona. It's very sunny. And can I tell you, when I test vitamin D on patients, I am sometimes in disbelief that their vitamin D could be so low, like 10 or 15. Yeah, that's pretty low. And they play golf, they swim, they're outside. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I don't know, maybe when they're outside, they're only outside for an hour, but they're doing it every day. And that may just not be enough. And so, or, maybe they're just not. I don't know. Are they not eating other foods that help with absorption like calcium, magnesium? I don't know. But vitamin D is number one important. Let's go through why that is. So we know we get vitamin D from sunlight. You can get it from food. You can get it from supplements. But not everyone is lucky enough to live where there's sunshine all the time, right? Especially those, and they've done studies on this. If you live in the northern areas like Minnesota, Canada, there's higher rates of multiple sclerosis, autoimmune disease, and even certain types of cancers and osteoporosis because there's low sunshine, especially if someone has more melanin in their skin, they're just not absorbing this vitamin D. Okay, so we all know it's good for bones, right? Yeah, it really does help maintain bone density. And that's why it's so important for us over the age of 50. There's countries where children are not getting vitamin D. And do you know what they get? Rickets. Yeah, that's low vitamin D. And their bones end up kind of shaped weird. And then their legs are kind of shaped in a strange way. So now it's not necessarily going to prevent a fracture or an injury from a fall, but it helps maintain bone density because what happens is, especially with menopausal women, we start losing our bone mass as we go through menopause and beyond, right? It also can lower the risk of type 2 diabetes. Isn't that amazing? I think that is so important. So in people with pre-diabetes, supplementation of vitamin D reduces the risk of developing full-blown type 2 diabetes by up to 15%. Okay, that's huge. And this is just with moderate doses. Yeah. And not that it can treat certain diseases, but it could lower a patient's risk of dying from cancer. So listen to this. There's evidence that links vitamin D to lower cancer-related deaths. For example, colorectal cancer. Yeah. So a meta-analysis showed these benefits, but the results were kind of mixed. So I just say there's still so many benefits of vitamin D, but that would be a great one if that turns out being the case. Vitamin D also helps protect blood pressure levels. So yeah, it positively affects blood pressure. So the inside of your blood vessels, like how your endothelial lining functions, vitamin D helps with that. It actually can potentially protect against heart failure in older people, but it can't consistently reduce heart attacks or strokes. But to know that it could just protect and keep your blood pressure in check, I love that one. Vitamin D, we all know this post-pandemic, right? Helping your immune system so you can fight virus and illnesses much more effectively. So we know it lowers the risk of respiratory infections. And as we get older, your doctor has probably told you, oh, you should get the pneumococcal or the pneumovax vaccine so you don't get pneumonia. Well, I can tell you, you might want to talk to your doctor too about vitamin D. That's how important it is for protecting you against, I don't know, the next pandemic. Yeah, vitamin D really came out as a hero during the pandemic. You probably heard about that. So they showed in the study that vitamin D reduced ICU admission and from death in COVID-19 patients. That's how important it is. Up to a 65% risk reduction when they were on vitamin D. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So I love that it improves muscle strength because if you're over 50, we want to maintain balance, strength, we don't want to fall. So in people that are deficient with muscle, it can actually help improve muscle strength. That's great because if your muscles aren't working, your fall risk goes up and you do not want to break a hip, right? So I love how vitamin D also helps with autoimmune conditions, like I did talk about multiple sclerosis, depression, and certain viruses. Yeah. Well, okay, so is there any bad news I need to worry about with vitamin D? Yeah, there are some negative aspects of vitamin D you need to be careful of. I always get concerned. I've seen patients come to me with, hey, my other doctor gave me a prescription. It's like a 50,000 IU dose of vitamin D. And I'm like, oh no, we are not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Well, so there is a risk of toxicity when you take too much vitamin D. So this can cause what's called hypercalcemia, which is too much calcium in the blood. That's bad because that can lead to kidney stones, kidney damage, even possible cardiac risk like a heart attack. And so that's to be wary of. And even people like in some trials, they showed healthy older adults without a deficiency don't need to take vitamin D3 because it could interact with their other medications. Like if they're on a certain steroid or a heart medication, vitamin D can interact with that. So if your vitamin D levels are fine, you may not need to be taking vitamin D. Yeah, you just need your regular sunshine. So, vitamin D can be tested. The goal with women is around 60 or 70 in a blood level because we need, that's considered like goal. Men at least at 50. Yeah, especially if they're over the age of 50. The blood devil. I'm in Arizona. We have ASU, the Sun Devil, so I think about sun and that. But we know we can test blood levels, and doctors should be testing what's called 25-OH vitamin D. That stands for 25-hydroxy vitamin D. That is the lab test that we do. And that's how we can monitor once a year our patients that are on vitamin D. And of course, there's two types of vitamin D. There's D2 and D3. The safe type of taking is called vitamin D3. That's considered the safest and most effective option. It's the active form. So that's what, if you're talking to your doctor about it, if they don't know, it's the D3 form. It also reduces any of the toxicity risk with higher doses that we see with taking D2. However, both are sometimes recommended, but D3 is the safer one. Just telling you now. There is information out there that vegans may opt for the D2 type for ethical reasons, but I usually tend to go with the safer one. I'm going with the D3 active form. So I hope that's something new for you that you didn't know about. If you already knew it and you're on it already, comment below. Or if it's something that you want to talk to your doctor, comment below because this is for education. If you do want more of a one-on-one consult, you can see our website. It's vitalizehealthpartners.com. And I'm Dr. Andrew O'Connor. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor, and I'm also still a registered nurse. So I did nursing school first and then went back to medical school. But, and then we also have health coach Erin to walk you through more education. Thanks for being here.